So what are some of the use cases applicable to the scenario where one would consider buying a whole fleet of robotic cleaning executives with recurring costs that run for a period of 3 years? Well, for a start, there's the obvious use case context of a single home that just needs regular cleaning. Special considerations may be pet hair issues or members of the family that have serious allergies and need an environment that is as free of dust particles as possible. The value proposition might also be predicated on perhaps cost savings or convenience. Say the helper comes in once a week to help with keeping the home clean, for example. In order to minimize dust particles in the environment, it would be quite convenient to have a robotic cleaning executive whom you can remotely invoke to vacuum dusty surfaces while you're at work for the days that the helper isn't around. It will also be quite convenient for the helper because they don't have to worry about the vacuuming. They could do more chores, catch up on their favorite TV shows, or minimize commute by coming in a bit later and leaving a bit earlier. Another use case context is a commune where a number of people or families share a house. Instead of each of them having their own vacuum cleaner, where storage space could be an issue, they could rather pool their money to buy a robotic cleaning executive and have designated days to use the given executive to maintain personal spaces such as bedrooms and communal living areas such as the lounge. They may even take the bundling option such that it's easier to maintain outside areas such as the garden, or they can park their cars in a row and watch a soccer game together, while the vice president washes their cars one after the other, saving on the cost of going to the car wash. Lastly, we consider the context of a cleaning business, such as a landscaper, car wash, or home cleaning business. The value proposition may involve sourcing capability to more sustainably address surging demand, saving on headcount costs, or addressing concerns around cleaning quality issues. The business may have encountered clients that complain about dust underneath beds that weigh 200 kilograms and are so intricately assembled that even 8 people can't even lift them. So now, let's consider the financial implications for the analogy scenario we just mapped out across each of the associated use case contexts. So we start with option 1, getting Chairman Meow with no upfront payment and 10 free users. At a rate of 20 Rand per use after the free allocated users over a rolling 12-month period. So we now look at forecasted or estimated maximum number of users over a 12-month period for each of the use case contexts. We capture that in our calculation. We capture the 10 free users and subtract them from the maximum number of users over a 12-month period to remain with the number of users that would actually be charged. which gives us an annual cost for each use case context for the option of zero upfront payment. The contract period is 3 years. With no upfront payment, as we said. Ending up with a total cost over the 3-year period for the estimated maximum number of uses for each use case context. We do the same for option 2, 5,000 Rand upfront payment, 23 uses, and a rate of 15 Rand per use of Chairman Meow over a rolling 12-month period. Which then gives us this outcome. Moving on to option 3, with the cost calculation outcome as outlined. We do the same with the bundling options. And here we are, the rands and cents laid out for our analogy scenario. So let's break it down per use case context to see how they match up against each other. The point of this is to offset the costs outlined against whatever benefit you get from taking whatever option you choose to source the robotic cleaning capability and decide if it is worth it. The said benefits could be quality of life, cost savings, or venture business case related, as outlined per use case context detailed here. It might look expensive at first, but you might consider things such as being forced to take on medical aid cover with a higher day-to-day benefit, no doubt more expensive, to contend with elevated allergy issues on those horribly dusty August days where you come home to a mountain of dust on your surfaces, essentially getting punished for wanting a bit of natural fresh air to circulate in your home. And then there's the not so popular benefits for the business use case that robots don't take lunch breaks, sick leave, or get tired. You can ramp up demand on a moment's notice without having to worry about paying overtime and such. It all boils down to whether the benefit outweighs the cost for your particular use case scenario or context. Okay, so now that we've made things a bit real for you, we can get into the actual commercial considerations of API marketplaces, which are not unlike the analogy we just spent a bit of time discussing here. Off to Chapter 5B we go.